Hi, I'm going to talk about the first assessment that you're going to do for the distance learning grade 12 chemistry course. You should watch and go through the notes on the first two lessons, the introduction to thermodynamics and the enthalpy lesson before getting started on this assessment. So what you're going to be doing is writing a formal lab introduction, just the introduction section, for a online simulation where you're going to look at bond energies. So let's go to explorelearning.com. This is where you can access the course where you can get the gizmo. So this is the class enrollment code here, and then you're going to click on the reaction energy gizmo, which will bring you to the page that looks like this. You can start to go through the investigation with the student exploration sheet, answer some prior knowledge questions, do activity A, B, and C, but it's going to be activity B that you're writing the formal introduction for. So let me talk about what the expectations for a formal lab introduction are. You should have already kind of gone through the abstract as we did this when we were in class. The introduction is intended to give the background information and state the purpose of the lab. For this lab, you're going to focus on, as I said, activity B of that gizmo. So you can develop your own purpose statement from the student exploration sheet. There is research because you need to describe the background information that someone reading the lab would need to know. So you should define key terms like exothermic, endothermic, enthalpy, state how it's relevant to the problem and purpose, and then justify the whole lab by communicating the relevance of the research that we are doing. Your references need to be properly cited. I'm going to talk to that in a second. The introduction should end with a clear purpose statement or hypothesis. In this case, since you're not actually going to do the lab physically, you do not need to include a hypothesis in this write-up. I already mentioned these things. These should kind of be done in your first opening paragraph. And then some historical theoretical background should be included there. State all the theory behind everything you are reporting on, and introduce why calculations may be required. If you're using a formula, you can use the proper way to cite a formula by having the formula written, and then figure 1, so title your figure and number it. So below the formula, you'd write figure 1, and then it could be like heat transfer formula or whatever formula you are using. You can then, if you're writing further sections, refer back to that formula that you've included in your introductions when doing calculations or any kind of discussion in more parts of the lab. The whole introduction should fit on a single piece of paper, so it should be about 1 page and can be submitted to Google Classroom. When you're using references, you can have to use APA formatting. All of these guidelines are available online, and they're included in the Google Classroom post about this assessment. Make sure your sources are good scientific sources and appropriate for a grade 12 chemistry course. As always, if you have any questions, please post them in the Google Class thread so that the whole class can see my response.